Ashley Madison gets my award for the worst customer service ever. The Apple Watch is a Best Buy, and Tom Merritt is here to talk tech news. Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 410 for Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. This episode of Tech News Tonight is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for a simple payment solution, check out Braintree. With one simple integration, you can offer your customers every way to pay. To learn more and for your first $50,000 in transactions fee-free, go to braintreepayments.com/technight. Welcome. I am Megan Morrone, and joining me today is Tom Merritt, former host of Tech News Today, now host of the Daily Tech News Show, and the newly minted host of Connected Tech. Welcome back, Tom.
Hey, Megan. How's it going?
It's going well. So you and I go way back.
Way back.
15 years now. We've known each other.
Another decade.
Another decade. Back at Tech TV, where we were in remember our writing group that we were in?
Oh, right. Yeah. Wow. I'd actually forgotten about that. And the book club?
Yes. It was, yeah.
The writing group and book club? Yeah. That was the book club that predated Sword and Laser for me.
Yes.
I have patterned my part of Sword and Laser on that book club I was in with you.
Oh. And I haven't gotten an invitation yet to join.
You should.
Okay. I'll take that as an invitation.
You should.
Well, let's get to the tech news of the day. Now, we've all been following the twists and turns of the Ashley Madison story. It just keeps getting worse or better if you're into Schadenfreude. Yesterday, there was an interesting post on Troy Hunt's website. Now, he's the creator of the website Have I Been Pawned? That's a free resource for anyone to enter their email address and see if it's been compromised. And when the story first broke, a lot of sources directed people to Hunt's site to see if their email address had been exposed. And as a result, a lot of people started contacting him, trying to get help. What do you make of the way Ashley Madison has been handling this whole breach?
Yeah, this is a really interesting situation, right? Because it is a typical breach. We have not seen, we have seen things like this before, and we've seen worse things than this, considering Sony. But because of the subject matter, it is especially embarrassing for people to have their names leaked, their emails leaked. And I thought what was interesting about Troy Hunt's article was showing you all the different ways that someone could legitimately have signed up for Ashley Madison, but not be someone who was trying to cheat on their wife. Maybe they were a lawyer doing investigation. Maybe someone else signed them up as a joke. Maybe somebody was just trying to hack in and do things and create an account for them. So it was a good leavening article as far as taking a little bit of the luridness out of some of the coverage.
Well, isn't it right that they weren't even verifying the email address? You could just put in an email address and they wouldn't. Yep. I mean, so really that information means nothing.
Yeah, they were not only doing that, but they were also keeping email addresses that they had said they were deleting when people would get rid of their accounts. And we had an emailer today on DTNS that was saying that there's Canadian law that says you have to keep those records. So they couldn't have deleted them. So they shouldn't have been making those promises.
So they have just had an overwhelming absence of support through all this. I mean, most places apologize or sort of apologize, or they don't even have anything on their website. I mean, obviously, by now because it's all over the news, but why don't they even say that this breach has happened? Yeah,
you got me. As far as I know, they haven't even emailed the actual customers. Unless you've heard something that an email has gone out. The last I'd seen, customers of Ashley Madison had not received a notification of the hack.
Well, it's almost like the whole business model. It seems like their business model at this point is like, oh, well, you were doing something wrong, so we don't have to treat you the same way, which is horrible.
Yeah, although there's something in me that compares it to the arrogance that you get from Uber. But even Uber is very responsive to its clients, as arrogant as they are going into different areas when things have happened, maybe a privacy invasion or anger against surge pricing. Uber comes out and does blog posts and sends emails that just basic care of your customers.
Well, does this mean they've given up? Like, I mean, they were going to go public and, maybe they just think the business is over. So why take care of their customers at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we were speculating today if they can even survive. Is there even a future for this? And that may be part of it, is they realize that this is going to be bankruptcy for them as a business model, and so they aren't invested in caring about their audience. I don't know that that's the case. I'm a little puzzled as to why they haven't sent any basic communication, even if they are going out of business.
Right. Well, let's move on to a different type of story. Best Buy beat quarterly earnings expectations. An article on Fortune.com sort of implies that their success is due to selling the Apple Watch. Now, they just started selling the Apple Watch in August. So is it really accurate to link these two factors together, that their success is based on the Apple Watch?
I think Hubert Joly deserves the credit for kind of bringing Best Buy into the future, or bringing an electronics retailer into the future in a way that nobody has successfully been able to do it before. And it is in part because of their ability to hand over space to Apple and work closely with Apple and get Apple products. They're making a lot of money off that. But they were doing that before Joly came in 2012. If you remember, there's always been an Apple section of Best Buy, and that wasn't helping them for a while. I think it's that they have committed to price comparison. So they're really combating showrooming. If somebody comes in and says, I want to look at the product here, but buy it on Amazon, Best Buy has done a lot of things to convince them, well, wouldn't you rather just buy it right now? It's right here, and we'll give you the same price. And they've worked a lot with brands that aren't just Apple. They're working with Samsung. They're working with others to say, we will give you dedicated areas within the store to showcase your products as well. And I think that helps sales also.
Now, are stories like this, I mean, the stock market's been going up and down and crazy. And, you know, Apple yesterday was in the news. They're today in the news. Is a story like this sort of somehow designed to make people feel safer, more comfortable, like Apple's not in trouble, we're not in trouble, to like make things seem less volatile in the stock market?
Yeah, I wonder, well, it's hard to say. Like, this was Fortune's take on it, that Apple is to get the credit for saving Best Buy. I mean, Best Buy's earnings came out when Best Buy's earnings came out. They didn't know the Chinese stock market was going to tank. The Apple side slant on it could be because everyone has been talking about Apple. Everyone's been questioning the Apple Watch sales. So it could just be top of mind to say, hey, you know what? Best Buy's saying a lot of nice things about how Apple helped them out. That let's run with that. And Best Buy certainly has an interest in keeping Apple happy. So they're going to go out and give them a lot of credit for it as well.
So The Verge says that Uber will partner with the University of Arizona for self-driving car research. I know you've done with your Connected Tech series, you did a great piece on the connected car. What do you make of this news?
Well, this is following on the Uber partnership with Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. Well, the Uber is in some cases accused of stealing professors from Carnegie Mellon and emptying out all of the research. But this is the second location. It looks like they're going to do something with optics, I think, according to this article. But Uber definitely wants to have self-driving cars be the Ubers of the future. And I can see the attraction for them because a lot of their issues stem around the treatment of the drivers, how happy the drivers are with them, whether they're getting paid, whether the drivers are insured. They've had serious problems in India with one particular driver, obviously, but also, you know, winning the trust of people. And a lot of those problems become easier to deal with if in India or anywhere else you've got self-driving cars.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I do think that is their long game. Like, just wait out all these lawsuits until they don't have to deal with the drivers anymore. I don't know if you heard this interview. John Markoff, who writes for the New York Times, he did a interview on Fresh Air with Terry Gross, and he has a new book out, and he talks about how really we might be better off focusing on just the kind of technology to make cars not crash. Because there's just a lot. I mean, we're still a long way from really driverless cars, just in terms of how terrified people are of them.
Well, it's the regulation and the and like you say, the socialization for self-driving cars, because we're not in control and we like to be in control. And I think showing the safety of them, which Google has been trying to do by putting out the crash records and saying every time there's a crash, it's not the self-driving car's fault, it's the other driver's fault. And slowly, and to his point, putting the self-driving car features into the cars we buy already so we get used to them. And I really think it'll meet in the middle. Self-driving cars research will peak around the times people realize, well, my car is almost driving itself already. How much of a difference is it for me to just hand over the rest of it?
Right. I mean, there is a lot of technology that can be purchased now, just add-ons to cars, right? That, just do a lot of these things that don't hit pedestrians, even if you're not paying attention, those kinds of things. So, yeah, that's a good point. We just get closer and closer. So who do you think is winning the self-driving car race? Google, Tesla, Uber?
Nobody. Nobody's winning. It's not a competition. Well, it is a competition, but yeah, no, I think it's too early. It's way too early to call. Google obviously got out to the earlier start, but we also don't know exactly what Apple's up to with cars. They keep hiring a lot of car experts. I think right now it really is in that research phase where everybody can benefit from everybody else's research, and we have yet to get to the point where somebody can say, okay, I'm putting this out, and this is who I think is going to win.
And do you think the Uber model of having like those tiny cars that, that using it as an Uber as opposed to all of us having our own self-driving cars, do you think that model makes more sense?
I wonder how strong the U.S. attachment to owning a car will be in the face of this kind of convenience. The problem with public transportation has always been it doesn't come to my house and it doesn't let me keep my stuff in it. Self-driving cars solve one of those. It can come to your house, but you still can't keep your stuff in it. So it'll be interesting to see how that balances out.
Yeah, I would like a self-driving Uber for my kids, just because sometimes I'm here and I just need them to get from school to home. And I mean, in olden days, that was called the school bus, but in Petaluma, for some reason, we don't have that. So I'm ready for the self-driving Uber.
The clue is how people are using Uber right now, even though they're not self-driving. People who have cars will sometimes say, oh, you know what? It's going to be so hard to get there. I'll take an Uber, or I'm going to have a couple drinks and I'm just going to be safe. I'll take an Uber, I'll take a Lyft. And so I think it'll, like most of these things, meet in the middle somewhere.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a break to do an ad, and we'll talk to Tom in a second. Coming up, we'll watch out Twitch and watch Leo break his Galaxy Note 5. But first, this episode is brought to you by Braintree, code for easy online payments. If you're a mobile app developer, check out Braintree. Braintree is the payment solution used by companies like Uber and Airbnb, Hotel Tonight, Living Social, and many more. Braintree scaled with these companies from early stage startups to the successful companies they are today. So Braintree can scale with your business too. They have excellent customer service, simple integration. Braintree will get you ready to receive payments quickly. And Braintree's continuous support plus fast payouts means you'll be prepared as your company grows from your first dollar to your billionth. Braintree gives you a full-stack payment solution, support for all payment types your customers might want. So start accepting PayPal, Apple Pay, Bitcoin, Venmo, cards, and more, all with a single integration. To learn more and for your first $50,000 in transactions fee-free, go to braintreepayments.com/technight. So YouTube Gaming is set to launch tomorrow. Tom, exactly how excited are you about this?
I don't know. I'm more excited. Well, first of all, my wife works for YouTube, so I should disclose that. But she doesn't work in this section, and I don't know anything special about it. And I'm more excited about the live streaming of YouTube in general because I use that. And this is specific for gaming. So it feels like, okay, this is for people who do game streaming. I don't do game streaming. I don't watch a ton of it. I watch a little bit of it, so I'll probably check it out, especially Hearthstone streams. It'll be interesting to have more content to choose from. But I'm not a big consumer of Twitch already, so I'm personally not super excited about it. But I think it's super exciting that Google is moving into this space. They couldn't buy Twitch. Amazon got them. And Twitch deserves a little competition. So, give them a little run for their money. I think it's good for everybody.
It's really interesting. I mean, you've known me long enough. My gaming experience pretty much ended back in my Atari days. But now I have two 10-year-old boys.
That would be a popular stream, though.
It would,
if
yes.
you streamed your Atari gameplay.
Yes, from now or from back then?
Either one.
Okay. Now I have two 10-year-old boys now. They're insanely crazy about my Minecraft. It is a constant battle to get them to play the game instead of watching YouTube videos of other people, usually foul-mouthed people, playing the games. So I'm not looking forward to this, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, and a lot of this is archived. So you can be a little more selective. And I think, it would be interesting if they put some kind of parental control in there, right? To attract the Megan Morrones of the world to say, oh, well, kids, I'd rather you be watching this because at least I know there's going to be a little more control on what's going on than in the wide open world.
Right, because the YouTube for kids parental controls turned out so well, remember?
Well, at least they're learning.
Right.
and it's better than the nothing controls that I think you have on Twitch. I could be wrong. There may be parental controls over there, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because I completely understand wanting to watch video games to learn and get tips. But then it is just so easy to just keep watching instead of playing. And Minecraft's one of those things that most parents are super excited about their kids playing because they're learning. It's going to clearly turn them into coders in the future, guaranteed. But it is hard to see them. But I think I've heard a lot of complaints about like, oh, well, this generation just wants to watch videos instead of playing. But I feel like if we had that technology in the day, it's just the fact that the technology is there and easy that this generation happens to do it.
In my day, we sat around and watched other men play football on a field without going outside, not sit around watching other people play a video game without going outside. This is the modern day sports, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of watching other people playing athletics, you're watching other people play video games.
So there's another interesting story out today. Android police did some tests that showed just how easy it was to insert the new Galaxy Note 5S Pen backwards, which would be fine, except for the damage this does to the device when you do this. And when this story broke on the internet today, Samsung basically responded by saying, follow the instructions, dummy. They didn't really say dummy. I added the dummy. So during MacBreak Weekly today, Leo actually did this very thing, which should teach him not to play with his Galaxy Note during MacBreak Weekly. But I think we might have some footage that we can watch.
But the truth is, it's very easy to do that. Oh, I just did it. Oh, crap. Leo.
And that's their official stance is RTFM?
It's not,
Leo, are you serious, Leo? Did you just do it?
Gently withdraw the stylus.
I thought, because it went in so easily, I thought, oh, this isn't going to be a problem to get it out.
Oh, my God.
The clippers closed down on it, apparently.
They did. Yeah. And now you're not supposed to rip it out. You're supposed to gently.
Yes.
No, I can do that. Don't get those pliers anywhere near it. Oh, my God. I can't believe I just did that.
You inserted
a hammer and pushed it in the whole row.
Classic Leo, right?
Accident.
Yeah, I know it does make, if it were, this week in Google maybe, but no, I was there. It was an accident. And then, he's going to try to say that it's an accident, but now it's being recorded. That's the disadvantage to live streaming your life, I guess. Have you tried the Note 5?
Yeah, actually. It's a nice phone, but I have not tried the stylus maneuver yet. And now I want to go into every T-Mobile or store that I can find and say, can I try the stylus out, and then shove that thing in there. I mean, RTFM, as Kelly said in the clip, like that's not a proper response to folks. When it can go in that easily, there's a problem. And I was mentioning this earlier today, but back in the Palm Pilot days, I know that's way back, you had a little ridge at the top of your stylus, so you couldn't put it in backwards. So.
Well, even in the previous Note, I think you also couldn't. So I don't know why. And they were clearly aware of it. I mean, the Android police says the official manual for the phone very clearly states that the S Pen should not be placed in, and so in the wrong way, and it can become stuck. So when this is the manual, so they knew it and they didn't fix it. They probably knew too late.
I wonder if that's boilerplate, though. I bet every manual says something like that just to cover themselves from lawsuits. But don't design a pen that can go in that easily where you don't even realize it.
So if you were to look into the future, do you think they'll recall it? What do they do at this point?
That's a good question, because a lot of people are not satisfied with their response today, which is trying to say, hey, it's not our problem, right? We said in the instructions. They're trying to call like, we told you, it's your own fault. I think at the very least, they're going to need to provide fix for free. They'll cover it under the warranty or extend the warranty or something.
Did you come up with a clever gate name yet? Is it Stylus Gate or Whole Gate?
But one of the DTNS listeners said, "Oh, it's just Samsung ripping off Apple again, saying you're doing it wrong."
Right, exactly. At least it still fits in your pocket without bending.
Yeah, well, no, I've seen it bend too, actually.
So finally tonight, yesterday, Windows 95 turned 20, and today its older, wiser, and more open sourcier cousin Linux turns 24. We've had some good years with Linux, don't you think, Tom?
Absolutely. I am a big fan, and I'm happy to see it turn 24. I can't wait for the big 25th anniversary next year.
Are you planning?
Well, everybody can celebrate it the way they want. It's open source.
That's true. So yeah, August 25th, 1991. That was a long time ago. Linus Torvalds. So do you still use Linux today? I mean, I know it's like in everything, but do you use it yourself?
Well, yeah, right. Besides all Android devices, et cetera. I have an installation of Linux Mint on a laptop that I use to administer my own routers and stuff. But I've been wanting to upgrade it. So I've got a ThinkPad that I used to demonstrate upgrading to Windows 10 that I'm planning on putting Linux on, and I'm deciding between whether I want to like knuckle down and do Arch, or if I'm just going to do Mint again, or some other distro. But I go through phases, but I always love playing around with it.
Well, Tom, tell us about the connected tech that you're doing with Callie Lewis. Tell us about that project.
Well, her name's Luria Petrucci now.
Okay, sorry.
So
I was afraid I couldn't pronounce it right.
No, she's fine with that. That was smart. You just made me say it. Yeah, not much to tell. It's a 10-part series, and you can find it out there. Look on Twitter, and they're 3-minute episodes. Very basic. They're not meant for this audience. They are meant for the very mass audience. Introducing things like Internet of Things, connected car. We've got one coming up on the farm that I love. That's talking about using drones for planting. There's one on reforestation. So it was a fun project.
So of course, every day you do the Daily Tech News show, and Sword and Laser, is that once a week?
Yeah, Daily Tech News show Monday through Friday. Sword and Laser every other week, and Cord Killers every Monday, and Current Geek every Friday. And currently FSL Tonight every Friday, but that's almost done.
And you have a wife and a dog. How do you do it?
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
I have no idea how I do it.
Well, thank you so much. And of course, you're on Twitter at AceDetect. Thank you, Tom, for coming on. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me, Megan. This was fun.
Take care. And that is it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We're on twit.tv, where you can subscribe to the audio or the video version of this show. And don't forget to set a reminder for yourself to watch live every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And don't miss our morning news program, Tech News Today, every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm Megan Morrone. Thanks for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.